Should you lose your job if you choose not to get vaccinated? That's the question we're asking this week because it's the #1 question we received from our viewers. And I can tell you right off the bat, people are torn. Are you against these policies that employers are implementing?
Yes, because it's not a choice, right? It's just they're forcing you to do what they want. The government is changing the policy every single time. Like they give you freedom and they don't. So it's just like you don't. Like at the end of the day, your hands are tied no matter what.
I think you should. Definitely. And if you get fired, you get fired. That's too bad because if you want the job and your employer says, sorry, you've got to get vaccinated, otherwise you're fired, well, you're fired.
Before I go any further, I need you to subscribe to this channel right now. Go tap that notification bell and make sure to follow us across all of our social media. All the details in the description below. So you've heard in the news headlines that huge employers in this country have decided to implement mandatory vaccine mandates for their employees. But there are levels to this, folks. No, seriously, there are levels to this. So let's get into it. Because some employers, like Canada's big banks, for example, have implemented mandatory vaccination mandates. But this is for employees who want to or have to go back into the office. And you know, a lot of people understand this position. Seriously, they understand the position that these companies are taking. Take a look.
If they don't take any action, so no one will get it if they take it easy. So if they push them, they will get it, you know.
Of course, we all have our own choices and freedom to choose, but you know, already government is spending a lot of money and we're here to protect one another. You know, it has nothing to do with freedom of speech or freedom of action.
But here's the thing. These banks haven't said that people are going to be fired if they choose not to get vaccinated. Instead, they've implemented alternative measures such as extra learning sessions for staff, mandatory rapid testing, and the requirement to wear face masks. When you really think about it, like seriously, think about it for a second. It's actually kind of a reasonable solution, but some employers have taken things to the next level. Remember what I said? There's levels to all of this. The city of Toronto, for example, has put in place very strict measures for their workers, giving them a hard deadline to get fully vaccinated or lose their jobs by the end of the year. But here's the real question. Is that the right tone to take to convince people who remain hesitant about getting vaccinated? Can we just sit here for a second and really think about that? Because personally, I do think it will push some people who've been on the fence to actually go and finally do it. But I also believe that those who truly believe deep down, like deep down, that they are not ready or that it is not for them, that they will let their job go as a result. Because for them, like I've been saying this, it is personal. And I think only time, more evidence, and more education can change their minds. I also asked some people on the street their opinions on this, and facts, here's what they had to say. What would you do if they did force you?
I think I'll cross that bridge when I get there.
Now, the other big, and I say big side to all of this, is if those people decide not to get vaccinated and lose their jobs instead, then we are in for some massive layoffs. And potentially, we could be in for some really sticky and icky legal situations.
And for some people, there are legitimate reasons why they don't want to take the vaccine. And they would have rights under the Human Rights Code that their employer has to preserve.
But for some employers, they have decided that they do in fact have the law on their side. And possibly, the court of public opinion too.
If an employer is running like a high risk environment, like a care home, and there's a legitimate basis to make it mandatory in order to protect the people that either live or work in that environment, then I think they can.
But even if there is legal justification, I think it's safe to say that there is no easy answer here or solution. Can we all agree on that at least? It's not easy. The amount of passion that exists on both sides of this debate has turned the entire conversation toxic. And if you think I have passion, just go ask anybody about this conversation. It's being avoided for a reason. When you really think about it, if someone works in the healthcare field, for example, and is dealing with vulnerable and sick people, should there not be a responsibility to make sure you are taking all the precautions to ensure the safety of those that you care for? And yes, one of those precautions means getting vaccinated.
I think everybody should get it. Not only nursing homes, not only hospitals, not only nurses, everybody.
Everybody? Yeah, you
Yes.
work in healthcare as well?
Yes, I think it's our civic duty to protect all the public. Follow the science and don't listen to all these alternate things.
But, and I say but really, really, and I emphasize that, we also have to acknowledge the feelings on the other side. For people to hear that their jobs are now at stake if they don't get vaccinated, something that has never been required in recent memory, is tough. It's difficult, and it makes people feel uncomfortable. On top of all of that, we already know that there is a higher degree of vaccine hesitancy in communities of color. These are communities that already have been historically disadvantaged in many ways, including economically. And if we see a mass layoff of these folks, then will that not only cause more societal problems and issues and potentially push people who have been disenfranchised further disenfranchised?
Of course, like housing right now is really expensive in Toronto especially. So by you losing your livelihood and like your job, you would be forced to like find other measures. So yeah, it will definitely create more problems than a solution.
Listen, at the end of the day, I do and truly think we are going down a slippery slope here. And you all know I've been a strong supporter of more compassion, empathy, and education as a tool to get people to consider getting vaccinated, rather than pulling people's arms to do so. I personally just don't feel comfortable telling people what they can or cannot do and holding their livelihoods as a bargaining chip. It just doesn't feel right. So kudos to this woman who used empathy to get her family to make the choice to get vaccinated.
As my sister did with her son too. She said, if you go, meaning if you die, it will influence all of us. And she didn't say why. She didn't ask him why he was not getting the anti-vaccine. She said, we'll all be very sad. And that was it. That's all you can say.
Anyways, clearly I'm getting a little bit into it. So what I want to do now is ask for your thoughts on all of this. And how do you feel about this conversation? Let me know in the comment section right now. Also, if you do have any stories or topics that you want us to look into here on the show, or for news you can use, email us, news@brandongonezshow.com. And remember, you need to, right now, subscribe to this channel, tap that notification bell, and follow us on all of our social media. Hey BG Squad, we'll chat soon, and I love you for watching. Hey BG Squad, thanks so much for checking out our channel, and listen to this, we have more great content for you, like this video right here and this video right here. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to this channel right now and tap that notification bell.